How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I thought I would go ahead and post another video since the first one got a pretty good response, got a few likes and a few comments. So just to start the video, I just want to say thanks to everybody who commented and enjoyed my last video. It's kind of inspired me to keep going with this YouTube stuff, and honestly, I'm having a great time. I really like talking about records on here, and it's cool to kind of have a channel now that I can talk to other people about, and I can comment and all that good stuff. So today, since my last video was kind of like a topic video and not really giving any history, I thought I'd give my vinyl history today. So I'll talk about how I got into it. It's kind of a cool story because a lot of people my age don't know anything about it. But yeah, let's start. I'm going to give the backstory of how I kind of got interested in it, and I got a nice stack of records here that I can show you that were some of my early findings during collecting and whatnot. So to tell the story, there's a little place, I don't know if it's nationwide, but I'm here in the US, depending on where you're watching the video. It's called Second and Charles. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It seems like a pretty big franchise, but they kind of sell books, movies, games, and they do sell records. When I first started going, it was a lot more originals, but now it's kind of just like stocked new stuff, like, Tame Impala and, stuff like that that's kind of popular. And that's cool, and I still go from time to time and get stuff. But I was out with my mother. This was before I could drive. And we stopped at the Second and Charles place, and it was this new place at the mall, and I was like, yeah, let's check it out. Like, I had a small CD collection and whatnot, but I really didn't know anything about records. And I went there, and I was looking through the records, and I was just so floored at how cool this 12-inch thing was. I specifically remember the record I thought the coolest was Evil Empire by Rage Against the Machine. Great album, and I just remember holding it, and I knew the songs from Guitar Hero 3. But I was like, this is so cool, I gotta get into this. So a couple months pass, I get my first turntable, and I go back to Second Charles, and I do a little haul, just a few records. I really had no idea what I was doing, but I'll show some of those that I got. But that's basically the backstory. I saw it, I thought it was cool, I got a turntable. So let's start now in the lineage of I have a turntable now, and this was my actual first record. I got this record from my grandmother. She was moving, and I went to the basement of her house, and I saw a stack of records, and I was like, cool. Nothing good. I mean, some people get like, oh, I got this cool Zeppelin collection from my grandparents. This is what I got. Chevrolet On the Move comp album. It has a bunch of covers of, famous songs, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Blowing in the Wind. But, I mean, it's good stuff. It's not in great shape, but I thought it was kind of cool. I didn't actually intend on getting this record to listen to. I was going to hang this up. This is really cool. I mean, it's old car ads, and the record label is really cool, too, because it's a Chevy record label. This is in pretty bad shape. I don't know who cleaned this or what's on the dead wax of this one. It looks disgusting. But as far as early record collecting goes, this was my actual first record. I had this hanging on my wall, and when we're talking first time needle hitting the turntable, it was on this, because I got the turntable before I did the trip back to that record store to get some good stuff. But yeah, this is just my little kind of bullshit starter record in my collection. But I've kept it all this time just because, I mean, it's nostalgic. And it is kind of cool, so maybe someday I'll frame this, put it in a garage or something if I ever own a garage. But I went back to the store a second time, and this is really what I got. I can't remember if this was all the records I bought that day, but these are the two that really started my collection off. So we're going to start with the lesser, or maybe not lesser, but let's start with this. It's Boston's second album, Don't Look Back. This is not the same copy I got my first day record shopping. I've actually upgraded the copy. This is a $4 copy I got from a little record store around me called Right Round. I don't think it's open anymore, but they moved and maybe changed the name. But classic Boston album. I mean, for a starter record collector, one of their first two albums is a great place to start. This album doesn't quite get enough credit. I think it's just as good as their first album. I mean, I get that there's no foreplay long time on this album, but there's fades and interludes, and it's called the journey. Yeah, the journey between the second and third song. It's the fade, and it's phenomenal stuff. I mean, this is just good classic rock. I guess you could call it dad rock. But on the same token of dad rock, this was my second record I ever bought. Kiss Destroyer, classic. I just bought this. I was really trying to find Love Gun. I've always been a Kiss fan. Kiss was actually the first concert I saw back at Hershey Park Stadium. Oh, I don't even know the year. Maybe 2006, 2008. That's when I saw them. I've seen them since. But yeah, I've always been a Kiss guy, and to start my collection with a Kiss record just couldn't go wrong. This is a repress. I'm not entirely sure the year of the repress. It looks like it's a 2014 repress. There's a copyright back there, and that kind of makes sense because that would be the press of my, yeah. Here's the inner sleeve. I believe this is still the same inner sleeve as they print, or as the original print, and it's still on Casablanca label. Really nice. Pretty heavyweight vinyl. I'd say it's probably 140 grams. Not quite 180, but yeah, I kept it in relatively good shape. I pretty much had no idea what I was doing when I started collecting records. And unfortunately to say, I did start with the absolute dust all-in-one turntable. I had I think it was a Jensen. I know that Jensen's still a brand, and I think they make car speakers and amp speakers for guitar cabinets. I'll post a picture of this piece of dust turntable, but I quickly realized that that thing sucked. It was terrible. I actually returned it to Amazon. I came to that realization on my own. This was a little I was in the vinyl community, and everything all in one was like terrible and the Antichrist and whatnot. But then I got a pile turntable, which was kind of a pile of shit. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of their stuff. They make a few okay things, but I mean, unless you're gonna buy like a bullhorn or something, I would stay away from the brand Pile. But it was nice. It had counterweight and a skate, and it had a full platter, and it was all right. That was like my first kind of big league turntable that I could actually adjust, and it was all right. I've upgraded since, obviously, but yeah. So I'm gonna talk about a few more records here. I would say in lineage of my record collecting, this was probably like one of the next records I bought. Is a reprint of Black Sabbath, Paranoid. I mean, come on. Super, super nice copy. I bought a reprint just because, I mean, I was just unaware. I was absolutely unaware. Funny thing, actually, about this is that when I was first record collecting, I was kind of confused how some used records could be so cheap and some sealed records could be so expensive. And I believe it or not, thought that is because it was an original sealed. Like, oh, it stood the test of time. Like, this Kiss record was sealed because it's old. Boy, was that wrong. That was dumb as dust. Yeah, I quickly learned about reprints and whatnot and realized that they are not always the way to go, especially with albums like these. I see these for $5 to $10 originals, pretty nice green label copies. But you live and you learn. I actually got this pretty cheap. I mentioned this store in the last video called FYE, and they were closing at a mall near me, and I believe I got this in the American Idiot I showed in the last video the same day, because there's some buy one, get one deal. But I mean, I didn't pay too much for it. It's a nice green label repress. Clean. It sounds fine. It's a little flat compared to the original. As I said, I might even have 2 copies of an original of this. But I mean, this is, if you're getting into records and you like rock, this is like, you know, this is the place to start. It really doesn't get too much better than this. And something next, this is kind of a cool example because it expands my shown music taste on this channel. So far, I've kind of talked about classic rock and maybe a hair of punk and some like soul, R&B, Marvin Gaye stuff. But really, I kind of like all music. I'm not a huge country guy, and I'm not that into classical. But if it's the right stuff, I'll listen to it. But this is kind of funny, and this is something I've never really seen on the vinyl community, is Wiz Khalifa Vinyl. Now, this is kind of cool. A little bit of a backstory to this. This is like what I really listened to before I got into classic rock. So this is kind of like the gap between my record collecting and my music taste now, and like starting out and getting into what I would call just the music I listen to the most, you know, like the Sabbath and stuff. But this is cool. This is on really nice translucent kind of blue vinyl on Rostrum Records, which I believe they are licensed through Atlantic. This is cool, man. This is really cool. It came with an insert that over time has just gotten a little shredded. And I'm going to be honest, this is one of my vinyl regrets, not buying it. I love this album. The blue is great, and it wasn't that expensive. I actually believe I got this for a birthday when I was just buying, you know, new records on Amazon or eBay or whatever. But I wish I would have taken a little bit better care of this. As you can see, there's a pretty gnarly corner damage and some shredding on the side there. And the records themselves, because they're blue, it's not so easy to see, you know. They look clean, but they definitely have some scratches and pops and stuff. And this is definitely a learning experience. This is called, I played it on a beater turntable and didn't know how to handle records, and I regret it because these have actually significantly gone up in value. Probably just because I think they had this US press and then a Europe press, and that was it. Yeah, I don't see this anymore. He pressed his Black Hollywood album on like, it kind of looked like a black and white cookie vinyl. I'll pop a picture up. But his stuff is kind of rare now, and like my brother just recently got into record collecting, and he's the one who got me this album, and he was like, yeah, I want to get a copy. And it's like, oh buddy, get in line. I guess I have something here. Not really, but I saw one on Discogs, maybe like $90 or something. I don't know if that was the higher median, or who knows, it could have been autographed or something. But regardless, I have one more record to show, and this is kind of the record that really broke me through to buying classic rock. This is like the record that's kind of started my actually buying records. I probably had like 100 or so by the time I got to this. But this is like the record that really lit my fire into record collecting, and it's The Doors' Self-Titled. This is a horrible, terrible, sold copy. I mean, bad shape. Tape on it, not even a first. I believe it's on the Butterfly label. Yeah, it is. Butterfly Electra. And it's warped. It doesn't play great. It skips a little bit. It repeats, and it has writing on Jim Morrison's face. But the fact of the matter is, this album, when I got this, I got it for $1 or maybe even 50 cents at the same store I got that Boston album that showed earlier in the video. This was it, man. I heard this and I was like, this is the good stuff right here. This is the good stuff of classic rock. This isn't the, you know, the Kiss. This is a little more, you know, naughty and good. And since then, I mean, I have pretty much every Doors album now, including some live. I do not have the stuff post Jim Morrison. Maybe because I haven't seen it, but I don't know. When you have a stack of records and you're trying to watch some of your spending, and you have, you know, Other Voices by the Doors and, you know, a nice minty Traffic record, I think you know which one you're going to pick. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have yet to expand my ears to the post-Jim Doors. But this was like the one that kicked off. After this, I really started buying some records. This was like, I got into this, and then I got into Yes, and then Rush, and some more prog, and Beatles. I mean, this is some really, really quality stuff. Maybe not this press. I'm still looking for an original of this. I have I want to say, I have a red label Electra of this album, but I'm still super in the market for some of the, I believe they're like tan brown originals, and I believe there is monos out there of this, and maybe even I think there's a mono Strange Days and maybe even a Soft Parade mono. That would be super cool to get, but I'm not a crazy person on is it original or, I try to stay away from new presses. But if it's, a few years after the initial release, it's close enough for me. Especially if there's a big price difference. If I can get like a super nice $8 Doors that's on Red Electra versus, a VG $15 first, I mean, the answer's simple. I try to get them, don't get me wrong, and I get excited when I do, but I can handle a later press because I'm just trying to enjoy the music on a budget. I love the vinyl, have a lot, but it's all about the budget sometimes. So anyway, guys, go ahead and comment down below what your first couple records were. It would be really interesting to see if there's anybody a little bit older than me that's been collecting records since it was, in the height of the vinyl era. If they got any of the same albums as me, maybe they pick up the original copy of Destroyer on their first day record shopping. It'd be cool to see. Go ahead and drop a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more. I think I'm going to start posting a little bit more. I do start college classes again soon, but I should be able to get maybe a video a week out, maybe more depending on the week. But so yeah, stay tuned for that. So I hope everybody has a good day. Go ahead and comment below if you have any video ideas. I'm really looking for new stuff. I have a few in mind, but thank you everyone. Have a good day.